Young Peter the Pumpkin Eater is hearing voices in his bedroom walls, and they're telling him that his parents are not what they seem. No, it's not Bart's mongoloid twin Hugo, but potentially something more sinister. Or is it all in his imagination? Find out and listen out for Bumps in the Night with Cobweb. Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Ball Reviews. I'm, of course, your host, Andrew Iles. That's right, a little indie film called Cobweb, directed here by Samuel Bowden. He's known for directing a bunch of short films and some mini-series here and there, and this being his feature film debut. This is also written by Chris Thomas Devlin. Before this film, he wrote the screenplay for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre requel. We meet our awkward little protagonist here, Peter, who is a walking horror movie cliche by being dark, odd, and distant. He's of course getting teased by the local Hitler Youth, and he's a social outcast. He lives in the creepiest house on the creepiest street in the creepiest town ever. We discover that a local girl in this creepiest town ever went missing around Halloween time, and this makes Peter's parents overprotective in the creepiest way possible. His parents here are Janice from Mean Girls and Daddy Homelander, who totally don't act creepy in any way. Peter begins to hear knocking on his bedroom walls and voices through the wallpaper, this young girl's voice claiming to be his sister. This makes Peter absolutely obsess and question everything about his parents' motives, beginning not to trust them. And of course, Peter's totally not creepy parents explain all of this away on Peter's overactive imagination. Peter then begins to act out by painting really dark, scary, ominous pictures in school, which of course piques the interest of his substitute teacher, because she knows a horror cliche when she sees one. Then she begins to do a bit of digging into Peter's home life. The film does not stop moving, barreling along at a brisk pace. It begins to get creepier and creepier as the film goes on, and then we start to realise that maybe not everything is as it seems. It seems that everyone in this town as well is an absolute piece of shit, except for Peter's teacher, who seems to genuinely care about him. But like I keep mentioning, Peter's parents drill home that they're totally weird and creepy, even disciplining him at one point by locking him in the basement, which will totally not traumatise him. They've obviously taken this parenting method from the book How to Make a Future Serial Killer. Specifically from Chapter 6, it puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again. But Peter's having none of it! This, of course, only furthers his suspicions about his parents.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
The film asks many questions and builds the intrigue as it goes on. But luckily, J.J. Abrams had nothing to fucking do with this movie, because then we begin to get some answers. The first half is all set up for this film, and not in a slow way. Like I said, it moves pretty rapidly. And the last half of the film is all kinds of what the fuck slasher goodness. Things begin to get revealed as the film goes on, and like I said, the 20-minute climax at the end is such sweet vengeance and bloodlust quenching. I don't want to spoil anything, because I think this film needs to be seen, needs to be enjoyed. But I will say, if you enjoyed Malignant and Barbarian, chances are you'll enjoy this. This film is also shot absolutely beautifully. There are so many creative frames here and how they're staged and filmed, and clever use of lighting. It's dark in all the right ways, very unsettling, with some incredible DOP work here by Philip Lozano. Yes, there are one or two jump scares, but like modern horror films these days, you can see them coming a mile away. But these jump scares don't feel overused or obnoxious. Controverse, I'm looking at you! The whole cast in this, even though I think there's only about 5 or 6 actors that I could remember, were all amazing. Of course, Anthony Starr is a veteran at playing unhinged characters, and here he's right at home here, being very unhinged and unsettling, not knowing when or if he's going to explode at any minute. And the lead, Woody Norman, does a fantastic job. He's pretty much in every scene in this film. It's his film, he carries it all the way through. Horror lately has had some really great child actors that carry their films and their roles respectively. This is a little indie horror film that slipped under the radar for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was going one way, and at the tipping point it did, but then gave me something that I really enjoyed and gave me that sweet, sweet revenge bloodlust. It's also based at Halloween time, this film, so it gets extra points for that. Hopefully this film gets some buzz around it, gets some bums on seats to go see it. It's getting sprinkled out with releases all over the world, already being released in America, I think in July, but hopefully it makes some money, because there is potential
for a franchise here. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it slipped under the radar for me, and I was very thankful and happy to see it. But guys, that's my cheeky little review of Cobweb. Write down if you've seen it, if you're excited about it, what are your thoughts on it, and what other little indie horror films coming down the pipeline are you excited for? And of course, if you've made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up because your love and support keeps me going because I just love movies and I assume you do as well. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon because I give out an episode weekly and I'll see you back here next week for the next review. And until then, stay spooky, kids.